Well, last but not least, Building 3. Now, Building 3, I never had any haunting stories or anything strange happen to me in Building 3. Just used to clean it a lot. It was, of all the buildings, it was probably the toughest one to clean. If you see down there that like all those telephone poles, and then right off the telephone poles, that silver building, it was right behind there on the tracks in the bushes. They found that guy's body. Like I said, somebody had killed him and covered him over with branches and shit. And it was a few years later, I was doing just like I'm doing now. I saw these two guys down there, and they were, you could see one guy was like, with his arm movements and all the motions he was going through, they was telling this other guy some sort of story. And it didn't look like he was saying my poor old uncle died here. He looked like he was, demonstrating. And I walked down there and they left. But here's Building 3. This is where they do a lot of wiring. Those silver houses you see, this is the biggest room where they do all that wiring. This is a training room. Again, gotta shut the alarm off. And I used to have to sweep mop. And sometimes when they asked, strip and wax the floors. It's a big room. It's a big, long building, as you can see. I used to sweep this entire floor once a week, along with dumping all the trash, vacuuming that office, vacuuming that break room, cleaning it, cleaning up the sink, all that, and cleaning the men's rooms and the women's rooms. This men's room used to be the total wreck, and then because they started hiring women, they redid the whole thing and they put a woman's room in. They've actually got 2 women work here. There's probably about 80 employees, but I wish I had a video of the old bathroom. Hey, that's an old ugly guy, huh? But yeah, I'm old. That's why today's my last day. I'm retiring from this. Not really retiring. I'm not going to get any benefits or anything. But I'm not going to have to come out here anymore. I've had it. Health, and just for sanity's sake. You get old and you start saying to yourself, there's more to life than spending. This job was basically taking about 46 hours a week of my time. And I've got another job on the side on top of this. Plus, I've got a job that's probably going to last till about August. And I figured out I'm 66 and I'm working 60, 70 hours a week. And the one thing about this building, you can see what I'm talking about. The floor here, these guys are constantly wiring, and they're cutting the wires and they're leaving what they call these little wire clippings on the floor. You try sweeping all this shit up. These things have a mind of their own. But this place is actually kind of clean right now. There were times where I'd come in here and there was so many wire clippings all over the place. It was nuts. But when they came in Monday morning, it was clean. You wouldn't see the floors I won't say they were spotless, but there was no trash on the floors to speak of. Sometimes you might miss one little one, but I'd get just about every damn one of them little things. And I'm telling you, you're trying to sweep them up, they do not cooperate. And the biggest nervous thing about working out here for me was this copper wire. I'm always worried because there's a lot of guards they hired that weren't like the coolest people in the world. You see this pallet? All this copper wire. When the price of copper's up, you hear all these stories, people breaking into places and you know, doing all sorts of screwball shit for copper wire. And what's one little old guy's life worth to crackheads that need money for copper? And so I was always kind of sweating that. But tonight's my last night, and hopefully they don't pick the night to come here and kill the little old guy. They'd be dumb if they did, because it's Sunday night, and if you're going to do something like that, you want to come in on a Saturday, and you know, you got the weekend, not to clear out all this shit. But that's building 3. And I'm just doing this video, really. I don't know if 5 people will ever see it, but I want it just so I can, from time to time, look back and look at, you know, where I walked around for 16 years. This is a great room to sing in. You got, you know, good acoustics. I used to do that. I don't have a good voice, but when you're all alone, nobody's going to complain. Maybe they'll roll some pipes across the floor and slam doors, but I wasn't singing that day. And that's about it. And this is for me and my wife and my kids, because my wife's been out here and my kids have been out here sweeping and cleaning this place when I was sick or my back went out. They didn't do it a lot, but they done it. And they used to say, they still tell you right now, they'd say, I don't know how you did it all, Dad. Because they got, the person that got cleaning it now doesn't do nothing. All the guys that work here aren't really happy about it, but it's like this politically correct thing. And so they just eat the shit, you might say. The guys here are doing more cleaning than the cleaning person is. It's supposed to be, it's just a joke. But anyways, that's life. 10 years from now, I probably won't even be around, and who knows what they'll have here. There's lots of talk. They keep saying they're going to shut this all down, and who knows, maybe they will. These guys are afraid they're going to get canned because they're going to bring in, you know, people from Mexico or whatever. They'll do the same job for a lot less. Time will tell. Everybody, Choo Choo Charlie was an engineer. He had an engine and he sure had fun. He used to make his engine run on Good and Plenty candy. Yum, yum, yum. Something like that was an old ad for Good and Plenty candy, and Choo Choo Charlie would shake the Good and Plenty candy box to make it sound like a train. Not too many trains come down these tracks anymore, but occasionally you got one. They go literally out to the docks. You got the port of Savannah out here. A lot of, you know, it's a big port, so at night you can sometimes hear the boats coming through the canal, and you can hear them blowing that big steam whistle they got on them ships. And if it's a real tall one, you can even see the top of it from here, coming over, literally above the tops of the buildings. It's the first time I saw it, it kind of freaked me out. And there's a million stories I could probably think of to tell you. I met some whacked out guards out here. I mean, the average security guard, there's some good guards, but a lot of them are guys that are mental cases that want to be cops, and, you know, shouldn't be even given a whistle, and they should have adult supervision with them at all times. But no, they somehow hire them for security guards, because security guards get paid basically minimum wage at jobs like this. I get $8.29 an hour. I've been here 16 years. I've probably missed 5 days of work in that 16 years. I'll say 7 days I've missed in 16 years, because when the back goes out, you know, there's not much you can do. But I could talk all day about the guards, but why would I want to talk about it? It'd be better if you could interview them. There's a cat hanging around up there, waiting to get fed. Right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 females out here. 5 have had kittens, and they haven't brought their kid. They just all recent spring-born kittens. I haven't seen them yet, and there's 1 female that's pregnant. So you got 6 females with all these kittens that are going to be popping up in the next month, and there's probably about 4 males hanging out here. And this cat here is the only cat out here that's really friendly. She lets me pick her up, and she's got kittens. I don't know where she's hiding them, but she's a good cat, and under different circumstances I'd take her home. But I got cats at the house and I just can't do it. But she's a good kitty. And the rest of them are all a bunch of assholes. A couple of them will let me pat them a little. But she'll literally let me pick her up, and she'll let me put her in she'll ride around the van with me. I really would bring her home if I could, but I can't. And I brought extra food out with them because tonight's the last night I can feed them. And then after that, they're on their own. They actually at one point threatened to fire me if they caught me feeding them. And I said I wouldn't feed them anymore, but I just can't help it. I mean, I can't stand looking at anything starved to death. It just isn't right. Well, I'm going to do one more video tonight when I've got all the cats out here. Thanks for watching.